Today we are going to some of the ancient philosophers who are dealing with the matter of aesthetics, and they are of course Greek philosophers. We are trying to understand the aesthetic thinking of the ancient times, especially from the Greeks. So in order to understand that, we must have a correct understanding of the beliefs and presuppositions of the Greeks upon which they shaped their philosophy. There are some Hellenic presuppositions and beliefs which shape their philosophy. The first one of them is the world is originally a given reality. So the world always existed, therefore it was never a problem. So the world was, and world is, and world will be. So the world is always there. When I say world, what do you think of world? What is world? There are different contexts in which we understand world. Some people think the earth, together with all its populations and countries, together form the world. That is one definition of it, one understanding of it. But it can be different also. I have my own world. The group of artists will have a world of artists or the world of science. So there are certain categories in which you make your own world. So it's a very varying kind of understanding is there. Very different kinds of understanding is there. But in our case, we mean world as a stage of life, where the human beings enact their life. World as a stage of life. So we say this world and the next world, the life after death in another world. It's a stage where human life happens. So this world was always there. It always existed, and therefore it was never a problem for the Greeks. So all questionings in philosophy of the Greeks presupposes this world. It was always there. So it was not an issue for them. The second presupposition is they interpreted the world as nature, in the sense an original principle from which everything emerges. So anything that we see in the world upon this earth, we see it emerges from the world. It is nature from which everything emerges, whether it is human life, animal life, or trees, plants, everything emerges from the world. It appears like a huge being, naturally endowed with creative potentiality. And third, the world is an intelligible reality. Means it can be contemplated, it can be understood, it can be analyzed, it can be explained. So it is a given reality that can be that is intelligible. It can be understood. It can be rationally understood. So the world is a given reality, originally given reality. The world is interpreted as nature. The world is an intelligible reality. These three are the presuppositions or beliefs upon which the Greek philosophers built up their thought. Is this clear to you? Not intangible, intelligible, intelligence. Okay, intelligible reality. So it can be contemplated, it can be analyzed, it can be observed, it can be understood, it can be explained. Okay, why something happens in the world this way? It can be explained, it can be understood and explained. So it is not a mystery. To be specific, it is not a mystery. As we experience by our senses, using our reason, we can analyze things in the world and it can be explained. It is intelligible. Got it? When you look at the origin of Greek philosophy, one of the greatest philosophers of Greece, Aristotle, he says, all men naturally desire to know. All men naturally desire to know. In his Metaphysics he writes, all men naturally desires to know. The desire for knowledge is an innate exigency for any human being. So any human being wants to know things. Suppose when you were a child, you remember, you used to ask a lot of questions to your mother. Why is this? Where is it from? Ye kya hai? Wo kya hai? Wo kaise hai? Wo. So we all used to ask such questions. So to know is a very basic nature of a basic desire of every human being. And he says, O means AWE. There is an awe-inspiring moment which makes us think why it is so, how it can happen. So these kind of questions come to our mind when there is a moment of awe-inspiring moment. There is an awe-inspiring moment where we start asking questions. I remember something from my childhood. I went for a fair and there were so many things that were being exhibited there. So you also may have seen this. There was a tap. It was running tap. Water was running throughout and with non-stop running water. And it is not connected with any pipeline. It is standing free, hanging somewhere free. No pipe connected there and water is flowing from the tap, never ending. It was a curious thing. It something amused me. And I was asking, why is this happening? How can it happen? Because it was beyond my reason. Maybe you also may have seen that kind of scenes and you must have amused. There was a moment of awe in your life and you must have sought to find answers. So in the same way, every human being have, and I found the answer. Actually, they have fitted a small pipe inside the mouth of the tap and they pump water from here. So the water that flows out covers the pipe and comes up. You all know it. It was not magic. But we think that it is magic. It was something wonderful. So there is a moment of wonder, awe, upon which we start asking questions. So this happens to every human being. So it is the starting point of every philosophizing, the awe-inspiring moment. That is from which every philosophizing starts. Even as child, when we were asking questions, when we were trying to figure out answers for the questions that we asked, we were also doing the same thing. We were philosophizing.